Pictures of former President Donald Trump's arrest are circulating on the internet, and it's driving people wild. The images are not real, of course, because Trump has not been arrested, but AI-generated pics are fueling anticipation from the anti-Trump and MAGA camps alike.
Just to reiterate, the pictures are fictional, but Trump haters are basking on what could be if he were to be apprehended. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, of course, is investigating.
I was like, when are we going to show him? Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. It's easy to see why these have gone so viral. They really are a kind of liberal fever dream of what will happen. This is obviously in
connection. These are fake images.
Yeah, of course. They're obviously in connection to the investigation by Alvin Bragg. Trump remains very much free.
Do you remember that video that, like, it was, again, porn for resistance liberals, basically? It's set to From Russia with Love of all the Trump. It's one of those where, like, they superimpose Trump's face, but it's moving. You know, those kinds of...
The deepfake videos?
Yeah. It's not just images, and him being arrested and Jared being arrested and all of them. You've never seen that? Oh, it's great. Let me see. Well,
no, I guess I'm not in the same
it's so good.
resistance lib fantasy
all right,
channels.
I'm going to pull it up. Talk while I pull it up.
So this is what I don't quite understand, is the presumption that images like this are going to be more galvanizing for Democrats than they are Republicans. Mm-hmm. This kind of a scene, if Donald Trump is in fact arrested, I personally feel like would be very, very bad for Democrats, given that the charges in the New York case are the weaker of the charges as compared to the election denial charges, which actually have to do with the bad thing that Trump actually did, as opposed to trying to cover up his infidelity and what is ultimately a personal matter, right? So I don't know why liberals would really put themselves out there as obviously thirsting for an unprecedented arrest of a former president and someone who is leading the Republican nomination, and a move that feels very banana republic-y and very much out of character for American politics, especially when there is a much better indictment allegedly pending in Georgia, that they could at least have the justification of saying, we're so excited about this because we care so much about democracy.
It mirrors Trump's own attitude toward things.
Yes.
I am your retribution. I am your retribution.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a fantasy to put him in jail for years, as soon as he started being president, even before that.
Yeah, you're right. They're stepping on Donald Trump's beat. He's the one who coined lock her up. Yeah. The fever dream of a corrupt politician being thrown in jail for their crimes was one that was originally dreamed up by him. And at the time, Democrats framed the Hillary Clinton lock her up chant as being incredibly despotic and anti-democratic and craven and ill-earned. And while, again, I do think that the election charges against Donald Trump are much more substantive, and that the Democrats, frankly, should have focused on those instead of the 1/6, the actions of 1/6. The fact that the Raffensperger call isn't playing 24 hours a day on liberal media channels is interesting to me. It's an interesting choice to focus on.
Everybody's for democracy until democracy gives you an outcome you don't like, I guess. It's a little bit of that. And then in 2020, Donald Trump was defeated. So the normal election process has been adequate to deal with him. So if you're going to break I don't think anyone should be above the law, including the former president. But if you're going to engage in the optics of arresting a former president the way they do in, like, South America, it better be a pretty airtight case, and no one seems to think that this one is all that airtight.
Yeah, and I also think that people, when asked about the hypocrisy of not going after George Bush or any other number of former presidents for their war crimes, their clear crimes, that instead of saying, well, no, that was different, acknowledging it and saying, well, maybe, we should have. What's the statute of limitations on that? Because it's the likelihood of something like that actually coming to fruition is nil, but at least acknowledging that that was perhaps appropriate, and that the reason we haven't done so is because we do have a long history of not treating politicians and other elites in our country and holding them to the same standards as ordinary Americans.
Yeah. And we also over-criminalize ordinary Americans.
Of course.
There's a little bit of, if we balance these things out, that wouldn't necessarily mean going after powerful figures with the exact same level of, oh, you filled out your tax form wrong.
Absolutely.
Now you got to go to jail. I would distinguish, I've made this distinguishing before, between the procedural crimes and crimes. They can always get you on a procedural crime if they try hard enough. Because how many times has someone in the course of trying to defend themselves committed perjury or obstruction of justice or one of those things? They don't prove that these people actually committed the crime they went after them. What they prove is that when they interrogated them for hours, they said something that they could prove was false.
Right.
And that's not, because that's how the justice system operates on the prosecutor side. It's what can I get them for and how can I get them?
Yeah.
Not can I make sure that this person is punished for whatever it is, for having an affair with Stormy Daniels, which isn't a crime, or for and lying about it, or for trying to influence the election. Well, maybe I can't get them for that, but I can get them for X, Y, and Z thing having to do with exactly how they handle their own defense,
right.
That's not really justice.
Right, and to that point, Hillary Clinton, of course, was fined by the FEC for very similar kinds of election money handling payment violations during her last campaign. So why is it people are raising that? I think it's a very reasonable question.
It's incredibly complicated and easy to make those mistakes.
Well, sure, but also, I don't think it was a mistake to use campaign money to do the research to try to come up with this Steele dossier information, which ultimately was proven to be inaccurate and fraudulent. But, why is it that when Hillary Clinton is found to have done that, she's get hit with a fine, personally only like an $8,000 fine, although the DNC was fined about $100,000, when we're talking about literally handcuffing and frog marching Donald Trump into jail, and not just talking about it, but fantasizing about it so vividly that the internet is now filled with deep fake photos of Donald Trump fleeing the cops. There was one that we saw earlier with him running around armed, about to take people down, I guess, in retribution. I mean, it's absurd. Why are we at this place? And who on the left is going to acknowledge the dissonance between how liberals came at the Hillary Clinton lock 'em up chant and what we're seeing now play out on liberal Twitter?
Indeed. Well, that's a wrap on the first week of the relaunch Rising. We so love our new set. There's the music. I'm going to be jamming to this all weekend. How about you?
I have taken to doing a little chair dancing when this music comes on. We're not quite at the stage where I think we're singing it in the hallways, but give us another week. Let us know what you think about this.
They'll be playing it on TikTok, unless TikTok is banned. They'll have to be playing
yes, clip Rising videos for TikTok.
Yeah.
Use our theme music underneath. Let's get the most advantage out of this program.
We leave this to you, our fans, people watching, people who sometimes people just watching us clip things, and the infamous Bethany Mandel clip, which now everyone and their grandmothers has seen, was just some people who watch the show regularly who clipped it, and it was seen by millions of people.
Yes, shout out to the boys at the Vanguard who do a lot of great coverage of our coverage here at Rising. We'll be back next week, of course, with our new music and graphics and absolutely our stellar news coverage. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content, and check us out on Roku and Plex TV if you haven't yet. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we are now available anywhere you listen to podcasts.
See you later.
Bye-bye.